adored Glenora, the only place the family could be together for a time each year. She visited there with friends and colleagues, boyfriends and future husbands, partly appraising their place in her life by the degree to which they loved it too. Or she may rest 33 miles south in her hometown of Elmira, where she grew up the only daughter of an extraordinary American family. Eastman's rural childhood was steeped in 19th-century reformism, led primarily by her unconventional mother, Annis Ford Eastman. The family matriarch was an ordained congregational minister who succeeded the abolitionist Thomas Beecher to become pastor of the prominent Park Church and lead a flock that included Mark Twain's family. Indeed, Annis Eastman wrote Twain's eulogy. Then again, her final resting place could be Greenwich Village in Lower Manhattan, where Crystal came of age. In the stirring first years of the 20th century, as 19th-century notions of liberalism and genteel social reform lost momentum, this downtown Bohemia became the wellspring of a new era. In Eastman's time there, old-world ways in arenas from international relations to interpersonal morality were giving way to new conceptions of society, new freedoms, new artistic directions, new ways of life. American urban life in general, and New York's in particular, seemed rife with transformative energies and opportunities. The defining sensibility in Crystal's world, noble, crazy, glorious, as Max Eastman would remember it, was that everything could be different. It was a feeling she never fully outgrew or let go. Or she could rest on Mount Airy Road in Croton-on-Hudson, then a country swath in Westchester County, where she owned a simple yellow clapboard house at the slope of a grassy hill. Eastman lived there with her young family among a small group of radical friends and fellow travelers. Her brother Max, always her most intimate companion, had been first to buy a house in Croton in 1915. She arranged to live very near him, as she would throughout her adult life whenever she possibly could. Croton seems to have been the home where Eastman's children wanted to remember and keep their mother. The only other relevant document, a letter held by the family, reveals that 4 years after her death, her then-teenage son, Geoffrey Fuller, planned a memorial plate to be mounted at Croton. The plaque was to be installed over Thanksgiving 1931, but by November 10th it was clear the project could not be finished in time. In fact, it may not yet have been started. A severely limited budget, always an insistent problem for the family going back to Crystal's own childhood, had stalled the purchase of the necessary tools. Margaret Lane, Eastman's longtime friend and ally in several organizations, urged Jeff to postpone his trip from Manhattan up to Croton until Christmas, or maybe after the first of the year. In the meantime, Lane wrote him he could be designing, but there the letter breaks off. It's a fragment, and no further mention of the plan or the plaque has survived. Today, none of Crystal's 4 surviving grandchildren knows where she is buried, and nothing, as far as they know, marks the ground where she rests. In both personal and public contexts, her place remains obscure, her imprint, too, easy to overlook, misunderstand, or miss almost entirely. In the early 20th century, Crystal Eastman was one of the most conspicuous progressive reformers in America. Her militant suffragism, insistent anti-militarism, gregarious internationalism, support of the Russian Revolution, and uncompromising feminism led some in the press to brand her notorious. Yet, more than a century later, none of these paths to recognition has carried her to significant historical remembrance. Today she is less known than might be expected, especially given the rarity of a woman with such wide political influence and her continuing institutional legacy in so many high-profile struggles. Eastman drafted the nation's first serious workers' compensation law, and it became a model for many other states. She helped found the Congressional